Hey, what's up, guys?
What's up, guys?
Welcome back. It's Yuli and Mike, and we are here today to talk about Facebook ads
So excited for this one.
for 2019 quarter 3 and quarter 4. So this is totally updated, brand new strategy that has been absolutely crushing it for us in our business. So we got our caffeine. I got my Shopify scrunchie. We're ready to talk about money.
Let's do it.
So first, we're going to go through a whole slideshow and explain everything to you step by step. But I want to preface this a little bit with, the fact that the hardest part of drop shipping is generally Facebook ads, right? That's where you're going to get the majority of your customers. And Facebook tends to be probably the most volatile part of having an e-commerce business. So it can be really difficult to keep up with the strategies and what's working, especially because, what's worked a year ago or even a month ago may not work anymore. And I know I personally have been angry at Facebook and been frustrated and feeling like there's some sort of secret of having successful Facebook ads that they know and I don't know. But at the end of the day, what you have to realize is that Facebook wants you to succeed in order to keep getting money from advertisers, which is how they profit. They want their advertisers to be doing well. But the second part of that is they also want to create a great experience for users. So if you combine great ads with a great strategy that we're about to share with you, you're gonna really succeed with Facebook ads. And the cool part is it's actually really simple, and Facebook kind of tells you exactly what to do. So
just gotta listen for them.
July 15th, we have found, and we know a lot of other drop shippers have experienced a serious downfall in ads, and we've been ripping our hair out trying to figure out what to do, how to make ads work. And then Facebook did their auction live video that we'll link down below that actually tells you exactly what you need to do. And we tried it and we crushed it.
Yeah.
So we're going to share with you exactly how to do that and exactly what we've been doing to see killer ROAS, baby.
Let's do it.
Quarter 3, quarter 4. All right, guys, let's get into the slideshow where we're going to show you step by step exactly what to do. And just a heads up, you can get these slides for free if you click the link in the description.
Yep, and they're all there, so download them because they're valuable. Okay, so first I want to kind of just talk about the overview of this whole thing. We're going to talk about what Facebook values from an ad itself, what Facebook wants the user to experience, and then we're going to discuss how the actual Facebook auction works, what Facebook is telling us about that, and what useful steps we can take to adjust our ad accounts to listen to all of this advice.
Use it to our
Use it to our advantage. Okay, so the first thing is, how does Facebook predict a user's behavior? So a user in this scenario is someone who's using the Facebook platform or Instagram. These are people who see your ads. So basically, Facebook has data on everyone who's on the platform, and they use it to determine what your interests are, what your buying behavior is, or your general engagement with ads behavior. So how likely do you react, comment on, share, or watch an ad? Also, how likely are you to click on ads? And when you do click on them, what's your behavior like on the website? Are you adding to cart, like window shopping only, or are you getting further into the funnel and actually purchasing? They also understand how much money you're spending on these purchases or how expensive these add to carts are. So they understand if you're willing to spend a lot of money on things you found through ads or not, and how often you're willing to spend. Maybe you kind of buy once a month and they understand when it's a prime time for you. So Facebook is really good at utilizing all of that data. Now, on the other end of things, it's how does Facebook judge your individual ads? Because they understands who to give the right ads to, but how do they rank the ads? How do they decide which ads are the good ones that should go to the good people? And there's 3 rankings that they make public, and they give all of these to us. You can see these in your ads manager at the ads level. There's ranked on quality, engagement rate, and conversion rate. So quality is how good quality is the ad? Is it spammy? Is it using clickbait clickbait? Are users responding favorably to the ad? Is there a small amount of negative press, maybe?
Yeah, and what you have to remember is Facebook exists to, like, it's a positive place for people to go, usually, to get great content. It's not necessarily a marketplace, even though they do have the marketplace feature, but you can't compare Facebook to Amazon, right? Where it's all just buy, buy, buy. So keep that in mind. Like, Facebook wants people to stay on Facebook. They want them to engage with the ads, have meaningful, positive engagement, which basically means, tagging their friends, sharing it on their page and things like that. Facebook doesn't want to drive you away.
Yeah.
So if it feels spammy, if it feels really buy now, you're probably not going to rank as well in the auction.
Yeah, no, it's super important. So quality and engagement kind of go hand in hand like that. Then the last one we have there, because that was engagement rate she was talking about mostly, is conversion rate ranking. So what's your objective? If you're selling a product online, you're probably running ads for purchases. So how likely are people to purchase when they click on your ad? And that's your conversion rate ranking. So that's a big factor on how good your landing page is and how good your website is. And there's also a ton more about how congruent that is with your ad, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, the important thing to remember is if you start running an ad and you set the objective as purchases, Facebook says, okay, great, we are going to put your ad in front of people who are more likely to purchase. And if your landing page is not converting those people into purchases, then Facebook is going to say, all right, you know what? You don't really have a great page. We're not going to give you that high quality traffic anymore. So Facebook is doing its job by putting your ad in front of people who are likely to purchase, but then it's your job to create a very sharp, crisp, high converting product page.
Absolutely. So we're starting to see that the ad is more than just the ad itself, and we'll get even further into that as we go on here. So we need to understand, everything makes a lot more sense if we understand how the Facebook auction works. We understand how ads are ranked, and we understand how users are ranked. So when it's time to serve an ad to a user, so when they're scrolling on their Instagram feed maybe, every sixth post is an ad, I've noticed recently. It's probably been like that for a while. There's a lot of time, so this happens like a million times a day, I would imagine. So it matches the user with a ton of ads that are also looking to target someone like this user. So these ads are now all competing in an auction to decide whose ad is actually going to be shown to this specific user. And Facebook's algorithm is really good at ranking high quality users with high quality ads. So if this is a person who's a high quality user, that meaning, if they spend a ton of money through Facebook ads and the objective here is purchases, that would be a high quality user. And they're going to be met with the highest quality ads because those are ones that are likely to convert these types of people. So good ads get good users. So the only other factor that you can control in the ad there is your bid, because all of these are going against each other, and you can have automatic bidding where Facebook decides it for you, or if you're on some other types of things like if you need to maintain margins, you can have target costs or other manual bidding strategies like that. So that's something we'll talk about a little bit later there. But the idea that we're seeing here mostly is that ads that rank really well get delivered to people who do very good at converting from good ads.
Mm-hmm.
So that's super important. So to kind of summarize all of that, then we can see that there's really three main factors that determine how your ad performs in an auction. The first one is the audience. Who are you trying to send your ad to? And that's what the whole point of the rest of this video is going to be. But the other two important ones are how good is the ad itself and what can you do to make the ad better. And three, which we touched about before with conversion rate ranking, is your website experience, all the way from the page they land at to the checkout they go to. You can control these three. These three factors are the three elements of an ad auction. These are the three things that are completely within your control, and we need to decide for each one of these three things what you should be doing best. Today we're going to start with audience.
Totally. And I think the main thing to kind of like keep your like eyes on as we go through this is what is in your control and what is not in your control. Because I know what's really hurt us in the past is trying to control everything about Facebook ad success. And so really what we're going to talk about is what Facebook is good at and let Facebook do its thing versus what you are good at and what you need to master. Because when you have Facebook doing its thing and when you have you doing your thing, that is where the magic happens.
That's it. That's a perfect segue into all of this. So what we should be doing, the developers are telling us what they should be doing.
What we should be doing.
Yeah, they're telling us what we should be doing. So it's up to us to listen. So check the link in the description actually to see a video from the Facebook auction live page. So they have actual developers who run this algorithm for the ad auction, telling us how it works best and what we should do. And so what we're seeing there is they're claiming that the Facebook auction algorithm can determine your audience better than you can. That's huge. That's a really, really loaded statement. So what they're saying is that their auction algorithm is now so strong, they have enough data on people and ads, that the best thing we can do is let Facebook take over there. Even if you think you know it, you let Facebook take over. Because no matter how well you think you know your audience, there's still other parts that you may not notice and other patterns and connections that are just too deep for people to really even notice. But these advanced machine learning algorithms that have so much data can pick up these patterns better than you. So what they're telling us is to let Facebook do as much work as possible in the audience selection here.
Yeah, so what that means is, okay, basically, like, for example, 2 years ago, the way that I ran ads successfully was like stacking a bunch of interests together and like making the audience as like targeted and specific as possible, controlling the placements, controlling the age, everything. Now, like, the less constraints you give it, what that means is broader interests, less control of age, like literally keeping the age at 18 plus, doing auto placements. So like as little control and constraint as possible because they have all this data.
Absolutely. So your idea here is then you let Facebook take over finding your ideal audience. So you want to remove as many constraints to their algorithm. So you want to give them as much free range as possible. So we already said this again. It's so important. We're going to say it twice here. But so basically we need to remove these constraints. And there's 4 constraints that we put on our budget, that we put on our ads that we could lessen or remove. And that's going to help Facebook have more control because Facebook can do it better than us. As humbling as that sounds and as proud as we want to be, we have to give in and let the machines take over here. So the real 4 constraints that we put on them are constraining the audience size by making it smaller, which we always just call targeting. Second one is competing against yourself. That's a big one if you have 2 ad sets or 2 ads going to the same audience. Yeah, duping, exactly, just like that. Budget allocation, how much you're spending here versus there.
And by that you mean like Instagram feed or Facebook feed?
No, or even just like spending $100 a day on this audience and spending $30 a day on this other audience. And also placements, though. That's a huge part of it, too. Creative selection. There's a lot of that, too, where you spend a lot of time testing combinations of pictures or videos and text and trying to find what kind of copy works best. So there's ways that you can remove all of these constraints and let Facebook take over.
And it makes it so much easier for you. You get so much of your time back. It's literally set it and forget it. So we're really excited for this.
So let's go through these 4 things one by one, what you can do to remove these constraints or lessen them. Audience size. So Facebook, and this is exactly what Yulia was touching on before. Facebook became the #1 platform because it had so much data on all of its users. It was the perfect place to deliver ads. It was like, oh my God, it was a whole revolution. It's like, okay, now I can deliver my ads to the most hyper-targeted segment, so it's going to convert so well, and I'm not going to waste money spending ads elsewhere. And that was the whole beauty of it. So and that's been the prevailing idea for a long time. So you can serve your ads. So it makes sense that this should be your strategy, right? Just be hyper targeted, get them to the right people. Wrong, as we figured out before. That's because when we limit the size of our audience, Facebook's algorithm has a smaller population in order to work its magic, essentially, and get the best performance possible. So if you go with a much broader audience, chances are, if your targeting was very good to begin with, the broad audience is going to find out who it's working for, and if your targeting was right, it's going to hone in on that same audience, but maybe it gets a little bit more people that are outside of those targets.
Or a lot more people that are outside of the...
Or maybe it finds a completely different audience than you even realized. And that's something that we're seeing too, is changing too. Our audience is evolving as we've been implementing these strategies. So really the takeaway here for this is that you want to go as broad as possible with your audience. And I know that's scary, but sometimes, you only want to narrow down your audience if it's completely necessary and it's the most simple thing. Like if you were selling like I don't know, like a product that is only specific to one gender and really there's no other person who would like to use it, then maybe you can segment just by gender. But even then, with gender-based stores and stuff like that, we've seen that not limiting to the gender, you get a lot of sales. People buy gifts for each other, things like that.
So what you're saying is basically what's been working really well for our account
is no targeting.
Is no target, 18 years and older. No restrictions on gender, no restrictions on interest. Only restriction we have is on, countries that we can ship to. Otherwise, no target, 18 plus. Because you honestly never know. Like, kind of like Mike was saying, let's say we have the scrunchie store, scrunchies for women. So I'm targeting women only. But you know what? A lot of dudes or girls may want to buy it for their partners, as gifts.
Women will tag men in posts asking them for it. Vice versa, men for other things, men will tag women. It's always like that.
So don't even worry about it. Let Facebook figure it out. This is the common theme here. Do not worry about the ad delivery. Worry about creating great content.
Yeah. That Facebook is so much smarter than you in targeting. Basically, Facebook's trying to be your media buyer. They are finding your audience, and they're doing it. So the only constraint we put on Facebook here is separating by country, and that's just because that's the best way for us to do that. Because of shipping and calculating things like that. So the second thing here that we want to talk about is competing against yourself is a bad constraint that you can have.
Yeah, we had to hang up our dupe daddy hats.
Yeah, so last time we talked about Facebook ads, it was we were talking about how we were just duplicating the same $30 ad set over and over again to the same audience. And we did it so that would be like 40 ads sometimes competing against each other at the same day. But we were inspecting it and we were not seeing any audience overlap. But all of a sudden that changed one day and our audiences started overlapping like crazy. And if you read the Facebook documentation for that, it says it's going to just stop spending on those ads that continually are being beaten by an identical ad of your own, or just another ad of your own. So basically the way it works is that when you're in an ad auction, basically if your two ads are competing against each other, one of them is going to win, the other one's going to lose. And if it continually keeps losing these top tier auctions, it's going to be perceived as not as good of an ad, and it's going to go and start getting into lower tier auctions, which are less valuable customers. So you really hurt yourself dramatically when you compete against yourself. They've been saying this for a while. Our data was not really showing us that, but then we've seen since mid-July that when our Facebook ads started to when Facebook ads from this old strategy of duping started to perform much worse, it was the exact same time we saw that audience overlap became way too serious of a problem.
So yeah, so that's why the magic really is in campaign budget optimization, just having like one campaign, one or two audience. You can
Yeah.
have like a no target or a lookalike. We'll get to that.
Yeah, we're getting to
deeper,
that.
you know.
So we're going to go through these 4 points, and then we'll summarize exactly all of those things that you should do. Because this is here, budget allocation, which is the CBO slide here. So another constraint that we put on Facebook here is allocating budgets. We have 2 audiences. One of them is doing so well on one day, and they're both at the same budget, $50 each, and the other one is stinking. You would just really like to spend more money on the one that's going well and less money on the one that's not doing well. But you can't do that when you set the budget at the ad set level. However, if you do a CBO, which is campaign budget optimization, if you create a campaign like that, then you set the budget at the campaign level and you let Facebook decide which audience to spend the money on. And that's removing another constraint because Facebook then has a little bit more room to allocate the budget, and it determines each day which ones to spend it on. And it's making machine learning decisions, so they're better than the ones we can do statistically over time. Sometimes you'll see it and you'll be like, this is ridiculous. Why is Facebook spending all of this money on this ad set that's not doing that well? But I have another ad set over here and it's barely spending on it, but its return on ad spend was so good. It's because Facebook, again, is smarter than we are. It's not. We are looking at past data only to determine future data, but Facebook has predictive data that it's getting here. So just because something did really well at $10 a day and the other one is at like $80 and you're wishing to spend more on this one that's $10, it's going to spend more money on it when it thinks it can spend more money on it profitably. So if it's only spending $10 and doing well, that's because it's found its sweet spot. It believes that if it spent more money on it, it would be wasted. It wouldn't get more sales. And that's predictive data, not looking at past data, which is way better than what we can do.
Yeah, totally.
So you need to give the algorithm time, and it will always make the better decisions over the long run. And then the fourth constraint here that we were talking about, which is at the ad level now, is your creative selection. So Facebook has dynamic ads, which are really, really cool.
So cool.
And you can see how to set these. So just Google how to set them up. It's really simple. But for these types of ads, you choose up to 5 creatives, which could be your video or your image. And how you have 5 different ad copies. You can have 5 different headlines, 5 different short descriptions. And Facebook will just mix and match them as they're sending it out to people in the auctions, and whichever ones are performing better, those are the ones that it's going to use and spend more money on. So that's another layer of things that you normally would test in your ad account. Oh, I'm testing this creative versus this one, or I'm testing this picture versus this one. You don't have to test it on your own in a small micro sample at like $5 a day. You can just let Facebook determine, and it learns over time. If one creative starts to do better, it's going to spend more money like that. So again, you're giving Facebook more freedom.
Yeah, the beauty of it is, like, I know it's scary to give it more freedom and lose control, but the beauty is no guesswork, which means more profit for you.
Yeah.
Like, at the end of the day, you're not spending as much money or time testing, so just remember that.
Absolutely. So the takeaway from this and what you should do is really those first 2 points. Comes down to account simplification. So this is, if you simplify your account, you're going to reduce the audience size constraint that you normally put on it, and you're going to stop competing against yourself in auctions. So basically what you want to do here is you use less ad sets and audiences and go as broad as you can with your audiences. So if you're afraid to go no target, 18 plus, things like that, that's fine. There's ways you can ease into this. If you have 2 ad sets that are doing really well independently, but they may overlap. The idea would be to create a new one that combines both of those interests or audiences in there and increase the budget. That way they're all treated as one ad set and they're not going to compete against each other. So you can just keep growing that way, so you can kind of ease to this strategy, or you can just wipe everything out and start all over again. But account simplification is definitely the way to do it, and it makes it so much easier to manage. And then again, you would just go make most of those campaigns CBOs, if not all. Eventually, you're going to have to make them all CBOs anyway, because CBOs perform better than ad sets. I know there's so many anecdotal stories where you're like, well, it looks better. I'm actually seeing worse performance with CBO. Over the whole picture of all advertisers and over the long run, CBOs do so much better. We just are all way too knee-jerk reaction. Everyone doesn't wait for these things to kind of make their own decisions. And last one here, like we said, whenever possible, do dynamic ads. Just basically let Facebook decide what type of creative to send to what type of person.
Totally. And like what we've seen is, okay, so remember everyone's job's responsibility. Facebook's job is to find the audience. Your job is to make dope product pages and find dope products. So when you're doing account simplification, it gives you actually so much more time to really nail it with your product pages instead of just like sitting in ads manager all day long. Like now, like of course we check our ads every day and we monitor and we test, but most of our time now goes to making creative, so Facebook likes us and our audience likes us.
And that's what's awesome about all of this. And because there's no secret sauce to Facebook. There's no strategy that's going to turn your ads that have like 1.5 ROAS into all of a sudden just having 25 ROAS at scale. People often think there is a strategy like that. Really, what we're seeing here is that you just want to let Facebook handle all of the media buying, deciding the placements, deciding which creatives, deciding where they go, when they go to different people, and things like that. It takes up no time of yours, so you basically do this, it will get there eventually, and then you spend your time, like Yulia said, on all of the creative creating, and also the website design and things like that, which are the two things we're going to talk about in the next two videos. But I would be remiss if we didn't talk about the learning phase here in all of this, because that's really, really important. There's so many misconceptions about the learning phase, and we just need to get to the bottom of it right away. So if you're running a new campaign or a new ad set and your objective is purchase or purchases, Facebook starts delivering your ad, and as you get more purchases, it's learning who to serve your ad to. It's starting to accumulate some data and deciding, okay, I know who this goes to. At some point, it's going to have enough data that the performance is going to be stable. So you're going to get consistent ROAS, consistent cost per purchase, everything kind of staying the same. This period while it's learning to get to that is what is known as the learning phase. Some ads can find who their audience is supposed to be pretty confidently before 50 purchases. Some take a little bit more data. But the ads continually learn forever. So when you have 50 purchases, it's understanding who to send it to confidently enough that it should be consistent. It gets more data in, and then it's using all of that data to find it. So your audience can always evolve with this. It can always learn more and learn better. So it's not like once it's after the learning phase, it's not learning anymore. It's continuing to learn. It just has enough data where it should kind of have a good idea of where it's going by now. But don't expect that once you get out of the learning phase that all of a sudden all your problems are over. That's a big thing that people do, where they're like, oh, my ads have been stinking, but they got 50 conversions now. Now they're going to start skyrocketing. It's not what happens. All that happens when the learning phase ends is that you should see more consistent performance. If it was bad the whole time, now it should say consistently bad. If it was pretty good, had days that were really good and days that were pretty bad, and it was just kind of all over the place, it should start to settle down into one kind of thing. But keep in mind that you can only really see true consistency on larger budgets. Or at least, and this goes with account simplification too and consolidation. If you're spending $1,000 a day on ads, normally that would be probably be split through a bunch of different smaller ad sets. But if you were spending $1,000 a day on one ad set, it's a lot of money, so that can get consistent. So you see here this example that I do. If you have $1,000 budget and you get 50 sales at $30 a sale, then you have an ROAS of 1.5. But if you have that same AOV each day and maybe you get 48 one day and 53 the other, you can see that the ROAS for those two are 1.44 and 1.59. So the ROAS fluctuates, but not that much. That's still pretty consistent over the long haul. But if you're on a smaller budget, like $50 a day, and you're selling a $30 product, if you get 2 sales, you have a 1.2 ROAS. But if you have 1, it's a 0.6, and if you get 3, it's a 1.8 ROAS. So that small little difference in sales makes a massive difference in ROAS.
Huge.
Huge.
Massive.
Huge. So for like a $50 budget, you can never really achieve what you would, on a day-to-day basis, what you would call consistent behavior. Macroscopically, over the long haul, you should, like if you looked at sales per week or over a long period of time, should stay pretty consistent after the learning phase. But if you were trying to get day by day, you have to have bigger budgets to actually see the consistency play out like that. So that's just a big thing we wanted to talk about there because that's super, super important. And I think we really cleared a lot of stuff up there. So I think that is basically what we learned, is that you let Facebook do its thing as far as delivery and finding out who to deliver to. You just sit back and you focus on these 2 things right here, which we're going to talk about in the next 2 videos. How good you make your ads and how good you make your landing page, because they affect so many different things, as we saw already.
Totally. And I think, one thing I want to add on is it's so important to maintain like a growth mindset through all of this. Like I know it can be frustrating to like always be learning Facebook ads. I forgot who said this quote, but it's like, don't be negotiable about your destination, but be flexible on how you get there.
Ooh.
Like don't be so stubborn, like, by saying, okay, well, duping all my ad sets has been working for 6 months, so I'm going to keep going no matter what. Like if it's not working, it's not working. Like try something new. This is what's working. This is what Facebook is telling us to do. So, just do it. And we are going to be releasing videos next on how to create dope product pages and what else?
And ad creatives.
And ad creatives.
But yeah, no, big thing I wanted to add on to that though, like you were just saying, you see people all the time with new ad strategies that are like, oh, I create a CBO and then I kill the lowest performing one and then I graduate the other one into like a different campaign and all this stuff, and it's all these different like kind of like pagan rules. There's like it worked for
pagan?
It's like oh, it rained, we must be being punished or something like that. It's like it's no science behind it. Everything that we learned today and that we're hearing from the Facebook developers is very consistent with how big data problems work and how you utilize machine learning to your advantage here. This is statistically going to work better over the long run. All those other strategies that people have where they kill something and change something and dupe something very regularly, pulling all these levers, it's anecdotal. It worked for them. It's not repeatable. So
this is repeatable over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Can work for anyone. Like
it may fluctuate in the beginning, but as you get consistent with it, it will be good. And if everything consistently stinks, the problem is your ad creative and your website experience. All right, so we'll see you guys later.
Get the slides. Click the link if you want it.
All right.
Subscribe also. Bye.
Bye.